Thank you. Thanks, Nitish, for agreeing to do this. And welcome to the stage and Imagine Next. So, you've become sort of like the global face for Indian gaming in more ways than one. Besides being the only listed company, you're also in an aggressive expansion phase right now. You just acquired Curve Games as well. Um, what's kind of the thinking around this? You are an India company, you're buying these assets globally. What's the thinking around why and what are you looking at what's changing in India as well?
Look, I think this dream that there can be a global gaming company out of India is something I've harbored for like 25 years since I started the company, and we went public in 21. And I think the opportunity that exists today for an Indian company like Nazara to go global and scale up in terms of revenues, in terms of profitability, in terms of market cap is immense. So I think we're just kind of pursuing that, and this acquisition-led model that we have has kind of worked well over the last 7 8 years, allows us a very large scale. So I think that's what we're really pursuing.
And generally the story is all about mobile and how mobile, but you seem to be going deeper into other categories, especially with the recent sort of investments in PC. What's the thinking around that?
I think there is cross-platform emergence, right? IPs of games on mobile, on UGC platforms like Roblox, Fortnite, on PC, on console. So I think remaining just in one vertical didn't make sense because we own a lot of IPs. Let's say Animal Jam is an IP we own. The idea is how do you take it across to PC or console, or we just launched it on Roblox. So I think trying to become cross-platform, and that's why we acquired Curve Games, which is a very well established publisher of PC and console games. Because reinventing the wheel takes a lot of time and effort, which we can kind of cut off here.
And beyond that, also with location based with Smash, what's the plan there?
I think offline gaming is having some synergies with what we do online. There's a lot of technology experience that we can provide offline. And I think that's why we acquired Smash. We have 11 centers now. And I think in India, the growth opportunity is huge for such, opportunities. So that's what we are pushing.
And you seem to be deleveraging of non-games as well. You've kind of also looking at exiting some of the more service sector businesses. What's your vision of the next like 12 to 24 months? What are you looking at doing in terms of further either acquisitions or just sharpening focus on what it means? What will Nazara be known for?
Yeah, I think the biggest buzzword today is AI, right? And I think we are embracing AI in a big way. How we make games, how do we engage with consumers, how do we monetize? I think it's you know changing everything. So I think one large focus is that we'll continue to acquire companies, but I think the biggest theme is AI.
And within that, where do you see it making changes? You see AI coming in towards changing the way games are being produced, distributed, all of the above, and where do you find the biggest alpha?
See, AI is obviously speeding up the development of games. That said, you know, if you're making a bad game, AI will help you make a bad game faster. So it's not a magic wand, but at the same time, what we could do in 6 months, we are now doing in 2 months. Or with the same team, the amount of content we could deliver to, let's say, a subscriber is 2 times or 3 times or 4 times, which helps our churn rates, etc. I think there are multiple such use cases that are emerging.
Anecdotally, in the companies that you've recently kind of acquired or invested in, where are you seeing the biggest gains? Like, which are the ones which have surprised you in this long 20-year history besides the faster?
One very interesting example is the recent acquisition we did of Blue Tile Games, a Barcelona-based company. Does about $200 million of revenue and has 50 employees, right? So that's like $4 million of revenue per year per employee, and that's completely because of AI.
Hmm.
It's no more a story. You can actually see it in the numbers.
And they're doing this where are you seeing them use AI to get that sort of $4 million per employee yield?
I think development, very AI native development of gaming, and then how they are using it for user acquisition and monetization.
If you have a message for sort of what you would like to see more happening in India, what would that be?
I think there's this huge opportunity in India of developers making not just for India but for the world. Earlier, there were certain gaps in the knowledge base, which now AI is bridging. So, developers in India can use AI to kind of fill those knowledge gaps or experience gaps and actually develop for the world, which I believe is the largest opportunity. A lot of Indian developers restrict themselves to say that we'll only develop for India, but India is a tough market to monetize, and therefore I think I'd love to see that. And just like our prime minister has been saying, right, India should develop for the world, export the soft culture or the soft power of Indian culture through gaming. I think that's a real opportunity.
And therein lies an interesting dichotomy, right? 95% of all games played in India are imported titles, but then the monetization is not deep enough for somebody to make only for India. So, is there a way that you can kind of break that sort of first in bargain? Like, how do you kind of, develop for a market where you have the users but not the revenue? Do you have any views on that?
Yeah, I think for a market like India, developers need to be very disciplined, make games at a low cost, at a fast pace, so that if they have a breakout, they can monetize enough to be able to sustain that. What happens is if you try to make a game that's going to take a year or year and a half, put in a lot of money, and then try to monetize in a market like India today, it's tougher.
One sort of more forward looking question, just before we kind of open it up, is that you're seeing a lot of these AI native engines like Genie from Google, which has come in, and I think just recently at I/O, Google announced that you can now kind of use Maps and Genie to build these real worlds that are playable. Then on one side you have these Unity and the Unreals and sort of the way they look at how game engines are. Do you see, what is your sense of where the future is heading?
I think obviously AI will develop and making games will become a lot more easier. For us, IP differentiation is a big thing. So, uh, gaming first IP or licensed IP. Gaming first, like we have IPs like Kidopia, World Cricket Championship, Animal Jam. These are IPs that originated first via the gaming media. Or we have IPs like Big Brother, Big Boss, and Traitors, which are licensed IP, right? Or Barbie. As long as you own the IP, you can really leverage all these developments in AI to develop faster, better, more, and build your business.
I know you're a public company founder and forward looking statements can be a bit difficult, but what's exciting you for the rest of the year till December? What can one expect from your focus areas in
I think from
Nazara?
a Nazara perspective, the integration of our largest acquisition till date,
Blue tiles.
this Blue Tile, is something which is most exciting. It will potentially double our revenues, double our EBITDA this year, and I think that's very exciting.
Awesome. Great. Nitish, thanks a ton for doing this. I know we were running behind time, so we tried to accommodate it for Anand's schedule. But if there are any questions, would love to open it up and get any feedback. No, looks like we have we have one there. Can we? Yeah, thanks.
Hello, hello. Yeah. Hi Nitish, hi Samir, Akash here. Great to hear your talks actually. I have a question from global gaming standpoint as well. So nowadays we are seeing a lot of learning-based game categories emerging, right? Where it's Roblox for education studios that they've launched, Minecraft as an education segment that they're doing, Duolingo's gamification. So you think with AI advancements enough? There is room maybe for such learning based AI native gameplay to emerge as an industry in India, or maybe can we develop something here which can basically be help to basically make people play while learning and emerge as a category. Do you think there's a scope for that to happen here in India as you have global perspective?
See, gamified learning is obviously an interesting and engaging way to let children or even adults learn, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it can get boring. But if it's engagement driven through gamification, it's obviously very uh, good. And we've seen successes. Our own IP called Kidopia, which is for young kids in the 2 to 8 category, is gamified learning, and we see great engagement. Right, kids feel that they're playing a game, but while they're actually learning a lot.
Yeah.
I think that is the future of learning. There's no doubt about it. And even today, with like my kids, I use ChatGPT,
Hmm.
and I just quickly gamify. I just tell ChatGPT, give my son maths questions, and if he gets three right, then give him a nice joke. It's simple gamification like that, right? And my son's happy doing that and trying to get to the next riddle or the next joke.
Yeah.
So I think naturally it'll tend towards that.
Hmm.
And I think the world has become flat today with AI and the tools we all have access to.
Yeah.
Whether you're sitting in Mumbai or in a tier 3 city in or town in Mumbai in India or in Dubai or any in the US, right?
Yeah.
I don't think anything matters. Location doesn't matter anymore. It's more about imagination
Hmm.
and action followed by the imagination. You need to work with the AI. If you're using Claude, for example, for coding, it's very easy to come up with an idea and quickly get the first MVP,
Hmm.
but then iterating it, building it out, understanding where that product should go.
Yeah.
I think as long as a person can grind on that and put in effort, that a world class product can develop from India.
Okay. Thank you.
There's any other questions from the floor? Yeah, there's one here. Just wait for the mic.
My question is more around funding. So I kind of been developing something for last 6 months, wherein I see when you are building anything for consumer market, it's quite easy to get attention of VCs in India. But if you're trying to build anything deep tech, I think there is quite a challenge. So what you would suggest for such founders who are building anything in deep tech? I understand we don't have access of those great models. We do have, but not like the company who are building in US having blessing of YC, etc. But what do you suggest to such people?
I think in India you have now specialized deep tech funds also. So I think people are realizing that there's a lot of potential value creation at scale that can happen, and there are a lot of deep tech companies now operating in India. Right, Skyroot you just saw on the space side, which is hit $1 billion valuation. So I think if you have the right idea, you have a MVP or you have something that you can show, there's no reason you should not be able to raise capital. But of course, at the same time, it's important that till you are able to raise capital, you operate at a low cost and keep iterating whatever you can using the latest tools, using AI, till you are able to get to a point of showing something to investors that they are excited about. But also you have to persevere. As a young founder, you have to persevere. If I share my own story, right, Nazara, I think in the first 18 years of our journey, I raised all of 12 crore rupees. I must have had 99% rejection rate or 99.5% rejection rate by VCs. In the next 5 years, I've raised 2-3 thousand crores. So it's about persevering and continuing to do what you uh, want to pursue, because your objective of your company is not to raise capital. You keep pursuing the objective what it is.
I think that's a great note to end on, with 20 years of perseverance, going from chair and a computer all the way to becoming a global acquirer of gaming companies, and also India's only publicly listed gaming company. It's been great, Nitish, that you've come here and have a chat with us. Thank you so much for
Thank
doing
you.
this, and thank you all for being in the audience.
Thank you. My pleasure.